So today's video is about a wealth strategy that concerns your home office and the number 8 facing star. So we all know about the main door as the main point of entry where qi enters the property for circulation. So it's the qi mouth of the house. Now in flying star feng shui, we also know that when the qi mouth or the main door is located in the number 8, the facing star location, then the house is already considered to be receiving the positive qi from the wealth star of that period, okay, of the number 8 period. Now, what can we do if we cannot position the main door in that particular sector, or we don't have the main door in that particular sector? Then the next best thing to do is to utilize that space, or if you have a room in that particular number 8 facing star sector, then you utilize that room, and put your workroom or office or study in that space. So what you do in that particular space is put the work related activities, or do your work related activities in that particular sector. So by working in that particular sector where the number 8 facing star is or room is, you will be activating the star and tapping into its positive energies. Okay, so the number 8 facing star, which is the wealth star, will assist you in your endeavors and actions that are actually going to be directly linked to generating wealth. Okay, so you are already taking an important step towards improving your financial situation or your wealth opportunities in life. However, you have to remember this. It is important that the feng shui rules on internal forms are observed. Okay, the internal forms inside the room are observed. If the internal forms are negative, okay, in that room that you are considering using or that you're already using, then you will find that the quality of the positive chi from the number 8 facing star is compromised, if not negated, So accordingly, it is always important to check the forms of the room that you're thinking of using before even using the room. Okay, so what do we have to do? What are some of the negative features that you have to be on the lookout for? Okay, so avoid these negative features. You know, if the room you're thinking of using has any of this negative feature, it is not suitable for use as a home office, as a study or a work. You won't be able to really benefit or get many benefits from the number 8 facing star because the chi is already compromised by the negative forms inside the room. So some of the negative features that you have to be aware of includes the following. Okay, number 1, small, dark, windowless room. Avoid having this type of room. Okay, if you can find another room where there's a window, that would be best. Okay, so because it is too dark, energy is not flowing, there's probably no good air circulation because there's no window in it as well. Okay, so another negative feature that you have to be aware of is slanting, uneven, or low ceilings. Please be aware that the pressing chi that's coming from the ceiling, sometimes they're just way too near you. Whenever you work, does not benefit you. It doesn't bode well for you and your work. Okay, so things like sloping ceiling, please avoid them. Another negative feature is, of course, the beams running overhead. So as a general rule, it's you want to position your desk so that it is not located under any of these visible beams, or you will find it difficult really to concentrate on your work, when you're working. Okay, so avoid having beams overhead. So when you're looking into a room you know, when you're inspecting a room, just look above, look up, you know, don't just look on the the furniture or just a room, the four corners. Just also look up at the ceiling and find out what's above you, okay? Because there are no, we have decorative features right now where it's similar to this when you have crisscrossing beams, so it's not as great, you know. So avoid that. Another negative feature is, of course, awkward shaped room. So sometimes this can, you know, can be found because you're actually just using a loft or one of the rooms up in the attic or the attic itself. So you have awkward shape on the ceiling, particularly, you know, and this is quite common, I guess, when you're using an attic room. So avoid awkwardly shaped room. And sometimes, you know, even small cottages, let's say if you're working away from your home and, you know, try to find a spot where you can actually work properly, you know. So like you have, you know, squeeze into this space, you know. So this is some of the things that you have to be on the lookout for. And similar to this, if sometimes we have an office space within your bedroom, and sometimes we just, you know, squeeze it into one of the spot that we have available, like in this particular slide here. You can see that the ceiling is sloping, you know, and you're sitting there for a long period of time. It's not really conducive. Moreover, there are also beams in this particular room, and you know, it's also not good if you have a bed there and the beams are overhead you. Okay, so this is another feature. What other negative feature? Okay, an awkward corner in a room. Okay, in, you know, an awkward corner in the room, making it difficult for you to position the desk squarely or properly. Okay, you kind of like you're getting squeezed. Probably you don't even have space for your keyboards or something like that, because nowadays we all work with a computer. Most of us do, you know. So preferably find a more comfortable area where you can actually work from, you know. Like this one is also a tight squeeze. This one is also in a corner where there's really no space for the desk. You just, you know, and with a, like, look at this slide, even with a, you know, with a table lamp on it, it's really difficult for you to, you know, work properly. Okay, so avoid this kind of, you know, spaces. And some of you might have an empty spot in underneath a staircase. You know, please, it's best not to use it as a office, like in this slide, you know. And the best use for empty spaces under staircases would be storage spaces or cupboards, utility room, that type of thing. Okay, so it's best not to have your office underneath the staircase. Okay, what else? What other feature? This is one of the important rule that you must not break, and I think a lot of you are aware of this. It is important not to position your back to the door, as this results in the chi enters in the room striking your back, so you don't have any support as well. Okay, so not only does the energy strikes you, you know, your back doesn't have any good support. Can and sometimes you can be surprised at who's in the back. Okay, so anyway, so no support in the back, it's a no. Okay, like how about this in this particular slide? As you can see, there's two office spaces here, and you can tell, like, you know, can spot what's wrong with these two office spaces. Okay, both of them have their backs towards the open space or a door, you know, and they're just being squeezed into a cupboard space, or, you know, so it's really not as conducive to have this type of work spaces, especially if you want to benefit from the number 8 facing stars, wealth stars, positive chi energy. Okay, So what is the best solution is, of course, to find a room where you can actually put your desk and your chair with a good solid support behind it, and you can actually have a good view of the door. Okay, so the back has solid support, and you have a good view of who's of anyone who's coming in through the door. Okay, you won't be surprised. Okay, so another thing that you can actually do to help you with this is, if you can and if you wish, okay, if you can try to position your desk so that it faces one of your personal favorable directions. This is, of course, based on your Gua number, your Ming Gua, and when you calculate it, or if you know your four favorable direction, then you can face your desk in one of these favorable directions that you have. And this is, of course, you know, if you don't break or breach the forms rules that we've just covered in this video. Okay, so again, you can actually do this if you actually don't breach or break the the form rules that we just covered in this video. Then you can calculate for your Minghua number, and then position your desk in that particular direction. So like in this particular slide, this person has a good back support. It has how do you call it? It has a good view of the room, and if you can actually position it, can position your table, your desk, your workstation facing your one of your personal favorable direction. Okay, so I hope you've learned a bit about how to position your table, and what are some of the internal forms that you have to be aware of, and the rules on internal forms that you cannot break, or you must not breach or break, or else if that's the case, then the number 8 facing star positive energy is compromised. Okay, so it's Margaret here. I thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you soon in my future video. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if you've learned a bit about one of the wealth strategy. I will be coming out with other wealth strategy videos, especially if you're trying to, who knows, cut down on credit card debts or something like that. So anyway, stay tuned. How do you call this? Subscribe to my channel so you get notified of my upcoming videos. So it's Margaret saying bye bye for now, and thank you.